of the royal blood, and we didn't know who the next monarch should be. And the other problem was that a lot of you were illiterate or at least poorly educated. So you cannot just pick somebody that's poorly educated to be a monarch of the whole country, and he decided that you will import a monarch from somewhere else. So what happened was that your diplomats decided to go around Europe and pick the best possible foreign prince to become a Bulgarian Tsar. So this is the first prince of the first Tsar of Bulgaria, the German prince Alexander Battenberg. In the end of the 19th century, owning the cell phone. So Alexander Battenberg was very young. He was only 22 years old, but he was still a good politician. But the problem was that right after the liberation from Bulgaria, that happened thanks to the Russian army, they didn't only do it because they wanted to be kind to their suffering Bulgarian brothers. Not at all. What they did was to have some interest in Bulgaria, and they actually wanted Bulgaria to be ruled by a Russian and not a German. So there were a lot of political quarrels, there were a couple of assassination attempts. Yeah, but you survived. Don't worry. And what happened was that Alexander Battenberg couldn't handle the whole political tension, and only after 7 years of rule, he decided to quit. And you were very sad. And now you no longer have a monarch. And only 7 years passed, there is not a single Bulgarian that can do that. And you decided to find another monarch somewhere else. And you chose another dynasty in another country. So you went to Austria, you picked your Austrian prince and Bulgarian Tsar, Ferdinand Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. Yay! This was the dynasty that actually ruled Bulgaria up until the beginning of communism. So you picked Ferdinand as your Tsar, and he was an older person, even a better politician. He managed to handle the situation between Russia and Bulgaria. He remained the Tsar of Bulgaria without resigning, but the problem was that you had, there were some rumors, and his personality was a bit of a problem, because Ferdinand, this is not a joke, Ferdinand loved butterflies, and he actually was catching butterflies whenever possible. He got the collection of the Natural Science Museum and so on, and on the day of the sign of the independence of Bulgaria, our Tsar was the one that was supposed to do that, and he was supposed to travel by train from Sofia to Veliko Târnovo when this was happening, And on the way to Veliko Târnovo, he saw a field full of amazingly beautiful butterflies. He decided to stop the train, because he was a Tsar of Bulgaria and he was able to do that, and get off the train and start catching butterflies. This is, again, not a joke. This happened. And on the 22nd of September, Ferdinand was late with several hours for the sign of the independence of Bulgaria because he was catching butterflies on the field. Actually, probably it already started sounding logical, but the rumors were that Ferdinand was bisexual. And it was a very, very controversial thing in the beginning of the 20th century, and you didn't like that. And Ferdinand wanted to stop all the rumors, and this is why he decided to marry the beautiful Italian princess. This is Maria Luisa, a charming Italian princess that married Ferdinand, and you were extremely happy because of this marriage. First of all, because he was obviously no longer bisexual, and second of all, Maria Luisa was a great political choice because she had cousins all over Europe, and this made the political situation in Bulgaria very stable. And the best thing out of this marriage, I don't know whether you were in love actually, but there was a very good thing that happened. And finally, from 100% Austrian blood and 100% Italian blood, the first 100% Bulgarian comes to this world. And this is, yeah, you are extremely happy about this. This is the first Bulgarian that's finally a Tsar, and this is Boris III. This is the person that managed to survive about 1,000 assassination attempts, including the one of Saint Nedelya Church, with the rooftop being blown up, and he was ruling the country for more than 20 years successfully. A lot of you love this person, but at some point during the Second World War, he mysteriously died out of a heart attack. So you were extremely sad, as we already heard, and your favorite monarch died. But the good thing was that Boris III had a son. This is Simeon II. The problem was that Simeon II was only 7 years old. And what had to happen was that Simeon II was supposed to rule you all, and being 7 years old, you know how to do that. Not at all. Well, your mother was your regent for some time, but afterwards, finally, there was the person that was expecting this moment for more than 25 years, the communists that finally managed to take over the power. So what happened was that the communists kicked out Simeon II of Bulgaria, sent him to live in exile, first in Morocco and then in Spain, and killed half of the royal family. So a lot of you were very happy because of the start of the communist regime, and a lot of you were extremely mad because what happened in Bulgaria was that, as in my family, for example, there were a lot of people that were extremely poor. And my grandfather, he was born in a very small Bulgarian village where they didn't even have any electricity or fresh water. And he had no chance to get any education or something like that, but communism started. And my grandfather went to study, and he actually became one of the top 3 aviation engineers in Bulgaria. And this is because of the communist regime, honestly. And there were those of you that hated communism because your lives were kind of destroyed, because you, let's say, owned a house here in the city center, you had your own business, your family was living here with you, and the communists came on your door and knocked and told you, okay, now this is no longer your house, this is no longer your business, your house is being nationalized, your business is being nationalized, you and your family should go find somewhere else to live. And there were 2 groups of you, and there still are, people that hated communism and people that loved communism. So after all of the communist ruled for 45 years, and at some point it showed that this regime can no longer continue because the economy of Bulgaria almost stopped working. None of you had any motivation to work because you knew that after finishing school